Thanks so much for having us. This is my first time in Rhode Island, so I'm super excited to be here. Everyone's been amazing.
Sorry, go.
Yeah, okay, so for anybody who doesn't know me, my name's Kara Kondi. I'm a professional rock climber and Olympian in sport climbing. Tokyo 2020/2021 was the first time climbing was included in the Olympics, and there was 4 of us from the US who had the honor of going there. Me and Nathaniel are both here tonight, and 2 of the US Olympians, so thanks for having us. So I started climbing when I was about 10 or 11 years old. Honestly, kind of old for most of the people I compete against. A lot of people started when they were like 5 or 6. And I started by basically climbing on anything that was in sight. I was always on the wrong sides of climbing structure, or playground structures. Like the far left photo, you can see it. I was on top of the fridge. I was climbing door frames at home. I was on top of cabinets. And my parents just kind of had to deal with it at all times. And I ended up actually starting climbing at a birthday party at the local climbing gym. And so that's when I was 11 years old. And I was kind of approaching that time of burnout by, none of my friends were climbers. Nobody really understood why I was going to the gym all the time. And when I first started climbing, my whole team was going to regionals, and I realized that's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to competitions. I saw this right away. And I was also getting a lot of back pain, and so I didn't really understand why everything hurt all the time, and so it was this combo of not being that cool in school to be climbing all the time, and then also having it hurt, that I was kind of getting this burnt out feeling. And it turns out actually that, if you go to the next slide, I had severe scoliosis. So this got diagnosed by, I was at the gym, and this guy who was a PT climbed there, and I was looking up what could possibly cause all this back pain in an 11-year-old girl, and it turns out that scoliosis is the most common cause. So I found this guy at the gym, and I was like, hey, do you know how to test for scoliosis? He goes, yeah, touch your toes. And so I bent down, touched my toes, and he just looked at me and said, ooh, you should probably go see a doctor. So went to the doctor, and I was really lucky to have super supportive parents. And so the first doctor that I went to, he was at a really renowned hospital in Minnesota, and he told me that climbing wasn't that important and that one day I would have a family and sports wouldn't matter to me. And even at 12 years old, that really did not sit well with me, because I doubt he says that to his male patients. And he told me I needed a back brace and that I should get surgery immediately, otherwise he'd have to fuse more vertebrae. And so basically nothing that this doctor said really resonated with me. And I was lucky enough to have parents who were super supportive and brought me to see another specialist. And his name was Dr. Lowenstein, and he was at the Gillette Children's Hospital. And he was super supportive, did all the tests himself, wanted to fuse less vertebrae because he realized how important climbing was to me, and that I wanted mobility and the ability to be an active kid and, into my adulthood. And he told me at the end of our appointment that I should send him a photo of me on top of the podium. And so if you go to the next slide, this is after surgery. I had a 72-degree curve, and we corrected it. It's still about 25 degrees, so I still have a rib hump on one side. And T2 through T12 are fused, so that's basically one bone is what that means. So if I stand here, I can only twist this far to one side or this far to the other side. And it definitely impacts my climbing. I think if you had asked me 5 years ago if it did, I would have said no, not at all. But as I've been trying to reach my potential and keep pushing myself in climbing, it's definitely something that I notice on a daily basis and is something that I definitely struggle with. But something that I really, really love about the climbing community and how big social media is and things like that is that I've been able to reach so many other people who have had back injuries or other disabilities that affect them, and share my story and inspire people. And I think that's something that's really, really special, and that I value a lot about the climbing community especially. And so I was actually able to send, kind of graphic photo of my scar. But next photo, yeah, I was able to send a photo to my surgeon when I won nationals 2 years after my back surgery. So yeah, I think having that surgeon who instilled this confidence in me was absolutely integral to my climbing career, and it also really prevented my burnout in climbing. I think I could have been taking it way too seriously and not having as much fun. And then as soon as climbing got taken away from me with this, huge operation, it made me realize how much I loved it and how much it mattered to me. And ever since then, I've never wanted to stop. Like, I've never taken more than a week off since my 4 months off from back surgery. And after this, I was able to set my sights on things like the Olympics. So if you go back one, actually, this is funny. This is a timeline that I made in my senior year of high school. And it's really funny. Don't read too much into it. But you can see I marked the 2024 Summer Olympics on there. And that was something that was like on my mind even from 2014. And so it's kind of this idea that if you set goals, you can achieve them, kind of no matter what. I didn't end up marrying Hugh Jackman, which is the next thing on there. But, you never know what's going to happen. But yeah, so I actually ended up qualifying for the 2020 Olympics, which I didn't even know was going to happen. And it was this amazing, huge goal that I never thought was even, going to be a possibility because climbing wasn't even in the Olympics yet. So I was always watching things like gymnastics or swimming and, comparing them to climbing and things like that. And so it was this dream I had without even really knowing that it was something that could be tangible. And so this is me before and after qualifying, crying, talking to my coach, talking to Shauna Coxey, and hugging my parents, which actually happened in like the exact same way that I had pictured it. So I had like really manifested this goal, honestly, ever since senior year of high school, apparently, where when this happened, it almost felt like deja vu because I had imagined it so much that like I was like, okay, if I qualify for the Olympics, I'm going to cry, I'm going to hug my parents, somebody's going to get a photo of it, I'm going to post it on Instagram with the caption, hard work pays off. And that's exactly what happened. So that was really cool. And obviously then we had this huge delay in the Olympics due to the COVID year, which tested us all mentally in different ways. I had this huge goal of qualifying, and then all of a sudden it was like we weren't even sure if we were going to become Olympians, because if the games didn't happen, we weren't going to be Olympians. And so that was just this huge test of mental strength. Obviously, we did end up going to the Olympics, but that year was really stressful. There was a lot of tests, especially for me with my back, and trying to figure out how to do these new style climbs with a disability. And that's something that I think really tested what I call my superpower, which is I'm really good at keeping my self-worth separated from my climbing ability, which is something that's much easier said than done. But I think it's something that really adds to your ability to keep climbing for a really long time and have a healthy relationship with climbing. And the one kryptonite to that superpower is definitely boulders that are hard for my back or climbs that are hard for my back. Just because I love the feeling of working at something and being able to overcome it, if it's like a physical challenge, and this is something that just doesn't have a clear path as to how to get better at it. But I'm still constantly working on it and figuring out how I can be a better climber and overcome these challenges that are pretty unique to myself. One of the ways that I did this was each competition was a brand new competition. I tried to not think of that, like if a competition had climbs that were really hard for my back, like that didn't mean that the next competition was going to have climbs that were really hard for my back. So every competition was a new one, and that's like a mental trick that I used to make sure that I was going in with a fresh mindset into every competition.
But it seems the route setters.
I was hoping they wouldn't come up. Like no competitions, like no style of moves that I was bad at would come up at the Olympics, and I really wanted to enjoy my time competing there. But sadly, some of those moves did come up, and it definitely tested my mental strength. You can kind of see I'm really uncomfortable in that middle photo, and then also
but it seems the route setters have made this one tough.
A little bit of music maybe to cheer up.
It's like one of my least favorite moves in climbing. But, I was able to really enjoy my time at the Olympics and just had an incredible time in general. And if you go to the next slide, I think.
Sure.
This feeling on the left is like what I really wanted. Just being able to represent my country, be there with my team, have incredible memories and experiences is something I'm never going to forget. And being able to represent climbing and represent people with disabilities and, otherwise immobilities and things like that on that stage was something really incredible. And I actually think I'm the only Olympian ever to have a severe spinal fusion. So something I'm really proud of. And thank you.